unique New York.
And she fades out. Did I do it good?
No, you did really well. The only thing is you should talk over the fade out. Instead of fading all the way out and then dead air and then talk.
All right.
Just a little talk over. It's very trained into me. Sorry. You can do whatever you want. It's your
Welcome to the ugly truth. Okay, so we have been doing a crap ton of yard work because,
yes.
Let's be honest. We put everything off until we're forced to do something. And we got an email earlier this week that said, hey, the HOA, we did our quarterly drive-by of all the homes. If you have anything that we think you need to address to maintain the appearance of the neighborhood, you'll get a letter in about a week. And I told you, now, honestly...
We didn't get the letter yet, though, right?
No, and we're not going to.
It was fine.
We don't live in a shambles.
There was not a burnt-out car on the lawn.
No, everyth's fine. But the yard work, it was time.
Yes.
It's like a week overdue.
Well, we've had a lot going on, so yes.
Yes. And stuff that we can't even talk about has been going on, and we can't talk about
I know.
Like all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so I said, we're going to get a letter if we don't do something about our yard.
Yeah.
I'm concerned. And you're like, all right, fine. So not only did we, do the bare
necessary,
minimum, I feel, but then I'm like, I think it's time to change out everything. And so you were being really nice and you're like, yeah, let's just go. We'll get all the stuff. So we went to the gardening place and we bought all the things for the replacements and the flowers and all the things.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it became not just a 2-hour thing. It became a 2-day weekend long project.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think this is what happens when life happens and you ignore. Like I was having serious mean thoughts.
Mean thoughts?
Yes, because I'm walking around. This was before we did anything. I'm walking around going, he loved this yard when we bought this house. And I knew that he would never be able to do what he thought he was going to do. Why don't we just pay someone? I don't understand, all the things. And then we start working on it. And at some point, I'm like, oh, we can do this. This is fine.
Yeah.
We still have so much more to do, but I think the stuff that we really wanted to get done, it looks really, really freaking good.
Yeah. We redid the gardens, completely redid the gardens and everything. Not just planting, changed out the dirt, changed the design.
Right.
Cleaned up some stuff.
On that note.
So it was great.
So for as long as we've been here, for the most part, I've had some kind of veggie garden in the summer. I don't do the winter. We tried the winter thing once and it was terrible. I hated it. So we really just do, and in Sacramento, tomatoes grow like crazy here and they're really delicious and they just do so well. Yeah. And my mom and her mom and now me, we have some weird magical thing where we can grow tomatoes like the jungle and they turn out amazing. We just get so many. So last year we had nothing.
Yeah.
And I think we forever thought it was the heat because we had this heat dome for 2 weeks that killed everything. Yeah. We lost big plants for they just...
Right.
Dead. And so yesterday I'm digging up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn over the soil. I'm going to do this right. I'm going to try really hard. We're going to get rat traps in case the rats come. Yep. And we did all the things. As I'm turning over the dirt, I'm seeing these weird white worm-like creatures. And I am a member of many gardening Reddits because I'm constantly looking for advice and just making sure I'm doing things correctly because I want to do well. And I'm like, I remember seeing these on the Reddit. And so I pulled it up and these are grubs, but these are different kinds. These are bad grubs.
Are they what were they? Beetle grubs?
They're beetle grubs. Okay. But so do you remember when we were kids and the Japanese beetle invaded Sacramento?
No.
You don't?
I wasn't here.
I remember.
Okay. I wasn't here as a kid.
Because it was terrifying. It was kind of like the death hornets that came. What were those things?
Yeah.
African death bees.
Bees, yeah. African killer.
They were killer bees.
Africanized bees or something like that.
Killer bees. and quicksand were things that I was always incredibly afraid of as a child.
Quicksand. That's
I thought for sure that I was going to run across. I used to pretend how I would get out of quicksand in the backyard as a small child because I thought for sure. And then when it was in The Princess Bride, I'm like, see? We need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
Will there be vines available to us to pull ourselves out? I don't know. We've got to find the stick and all the... I was so sure that I was going to come across quicksand as an adult, which I never did. Killer bees, I thought for sure if anyone's going to find one, it's going to be me.
Of course.
But they come in swarms. So anyway, the Japanese beetle was going to decimate horticulture in Sacramento. And everybody was afraid for a moment. They're like, if you see a grub, this is what they look like, kill it or, turn it into the vector control or whatever at the time. Yeah. So I'm turning over and I'm like, oh man, I remember seeing a post about these. Someone's like, hey, are these good or bad? Should I get rid of them or should I keep them in my soil? And they're like, those are very, very bad. They literally eat the roots of your vegetables and they will literally they'll kill everything.
Dick grubs.
The problem is that the beetles come and lay their eggs in your soil in the summer, and then the grubs grow and get bigger. And then when you plant the next summer, they eat all the good stuff. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I remember what they said. It's like, you just literally have to pull them out. You have to take them out, feed them to chickens, feed them to birds. The birds will eat them, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm like, oh, well, there's only a couple, and I had really thick gloves on yesterday. So I'm like, no problem. So I'm picking up now. I do not have a problem with worms and snakes and stuff. So it was fine.
They're not spiders. So
I'm not a fan of spiders or some lizards because they're aggressive. But other than that, I can deal with pretty much anything worm wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem. So I'm picking them up and I'm just hucking them to this. I have an empty plant container, so I'm hucking them into the plant container. I'm like, well, I'll just put them in there and then I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
First, I was throwing them in the tree because I have a bird in there that has a nest. That wasn't working because now it started raining grubs, and I'm like, no. Well, at one point, I'm like, okay, I feel like there's a lot. Like
It's too much.
I'm really struggling, and I'm like, what is happening? So now I'm filtering all of this dirt because the dirt is good. I don't want to get rid of the dirt.
Right.
And eventually, at some point, I came across like 5.
Oh, and you're just like, I'm done.
And the thing is these grubs, they're big and they are not attractive.
They were like the size of a quarter round up.
They're white and slimy no matter what.
Yeah.
And their front has they have centipede legs. They're really disgusting. So at some point, something happened and I went, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm starting to freak out. I'm getting the creeps. So I had to leave and I had to sit for a moment because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. There's too many of them and I'm freaking out. And you're like, it's all right. I'll help you. And I'm like, no, I'm doing this. I can do it. I'm not precious. So I go back over there and I continue. Yeah. And now I'm pissed. So I'm throwing them as hard as I can. I'm pitching them into this bucket and I can hear them and they sound like little pebbles because they're really hard, And I'm like, I hate you. And I'm throwing them. And then eventually I'm like, and I put some dirt in there and so I couldn't see them. Yeah. Because they will burrow, they'll burrow because they're like, oh no, we want your roots, man. Yeah. And so
we want your roots, man.
So I finally got both of my garden boxes grub free.
Okay.
They're beautiful. Everything's perfect, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now it's time to address the grubs. So I dump them out today and I look just to see there is no less than 60.
Wow.
There are so many. And I'm like, I hate you all. I hate every individual one of you.
Where did you dump them?
Well, everybody said that if you dump them out on the cement that the birds will come and they will see them because they love them and they'll come and eat them. So I dumped them out and those fucking grubs buried under the dirt. So I spread them out again and they're pissed, because they're like, hey, they're like vampires. Like, no. So I was doing some research. I'm like, how do you prevent these from happening? Because if they come every summer, and so
there's got to be a way.
So the Reddit people are like, hey man, this is your garden's part of the ecosystem of your yard, man. You just kind of have to accept it, and you've got to do. And everybody's like, you can get nematodes. And they'll kill them, and you don't have to accept it, man. And I'm like, what's a nematode? And I thought it was worms.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I have a couple worms. Well, they're basically roundworms.
They're just an organism.
They're not the kind that if you eat it, they come out of your butt.
Well, I would hope not.
But those are nematodes.
Okay.
But they're not the ones that you don't want in your body.
Oh, all right. Good to know.
You can buy them and you mix them with water and it activates them.
Okay.
And then you put them in the dirt and they freaking love grubs.
Okay.
And they'll eat them.
So you're going to do it?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do nematodes. I mean, they don't kill earthworms. They don't kill anything that you want.
Yeah.
Like
just the bad ones.
Like if you ever get like a little praying
Like
mantis or a bee,
bounty hunters.
they only want the grubs. They're like the chickens of the nematode world. They only want the grubs. And so I'm like, well, I might do it. And you found them. You're like, hey, you can get them on Amazon. I'm like, okay, you know what? I feel like this is kind of sea monkey territory. Like, I don't know. And
you
I'm
have
really
something against sea monkeys?
I'm really struggling with all of this.
Of course.
Because it's parasites and I'm putting them in the ground. And what if, I don't know. What if I get one in my mouth? I don't want to do it.
You're going to get one in your mouth while you're putting it in the garden? Or
what if my nose starts itching and something crawls into my mouth or my nose? And now I have a nematode. Like, I don't know. I don't want them anywhere near me. They're like, oh, well, they're not harmful to pets or humans. And I'm like, well, just because they're not harmful doesn't mean you're not going to get one in your mouth and it'll live.
You're not going to get anything in your mouth.
You don't know. After the pandemic, I realized how much I touch my face.
Oh, my God.
So there's that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyway, I haven't decided on the nematodes yet. I might do it, but honestly...
Do you want to wait and see if you see any more grubs, or what do you want to do?
If there is a grub in my dirt, I'll be shocked. I think I spent so many hours
but there could have been
sifting through that dirt.
But there could have been eggs in there, or the eggs already be grubs.
No, the eggs don't come till June. So anyway, this has taken up far too much of my time.
Yeah, your brain for sure.
Far too much of my time.
Yeah.
And so now I'm obsessed with the pile of grubs I have. I'm like, what am I going to do with these? Like, at some point, am I just going to walk down the street with a bucket and dump them?
The dog's not going to eat them, is it? Did you put them out where the dog could eat them?
They can eat them.
Dogs can eat the grubs?
Yeah, why not? In fact, oh my God, this is the other thing. They're like, hey.
I don't believe you. You didn't look that up.
If you don't have chickens, you can fry them and eat them. They're pure protein.
Fuck that. I didn't talk about me or you eating them. I'm talking about the dog.
They're not harmful to animals or people.
You're telling me if our dog eats 60 grubs.
Someone said that their dog rooted through because they had them in their lawn, and they rooted through and they literally ate them as they found them. They dug them up and ate them. This is a whole new world.
It's on Reddit, so it must be true.
Well, I don't know, but but apparently grubs. How many times did you watch your boyfriend pull grubs out of a log and then eat them alive?
Yeah, they weren't the same.
Bear Grylls.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Well, what do you think a grub is? It's a larva.
I know that. I know what it is. I know what a grub is.
Well, it's the same. And I think these are
60
fake.
of them.
Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you that you can eat them. I won't, in fact, do that.
Okay, good.
The legs alone, I can't with the legs.
I mean, you can't even get over a nematode. How could you possibly consume a grub?
I cannot. The whole thing.
That was one of the grossest things I ever saw Bear Grylls do. Is he grabbed a big ass grub, took a bite of it, and it just squirted everywhere.
If I was starving,
well, I mean,
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think I would find a way to cook them in any way, shape, or form. I would not just grab them out of a fucking tree and eat them, but.
The whole argument, like, look, there are other parts of the world. They eat bugs. They're very healthy. And I'm like, I appreciate you and I understand what you're saying.
They look like baby shrimps.
And it's fine, but I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
I don't live in that part of the world and I don't have no interest. I have tried a cricket for sure. I've tried a cricket. I think I've eaten an ant or two in my life and that's fine. But I don't want to do it on purpose. Like, oh, yum. This looks so delish.
I'm with you.
I'm not making bread out of it. I'm not doing any of that weird shit. Well, no, because there was like, you can dry them. You can cook them, dry them, and turn them into a powder.
See, I would read that and I'd be like, you guys are just fucking with me now. Like, this is not real.
You know what? I bet you there is a bug cookbook that you can buy, and it will tell you that you can do many of these things. Sure. In fact, I bet that there are places in maybe Oregon,
or the wilds of Oregon,
or other places that are a bit hippy dippy, where there are stores where you can purchase said grub flour.
Right about now, I'm very glad I didn't bring my phone to the studio,
so
because I would be looking that up.
Anyway. Now, we are not in our 30s anymore, so I was concerned that I was going to not be able to move because we worked for a solid 4 hours yesterday, and I thought for sure I was going to be like, it's going to be like that cartoon, Bob's Burgers, where they joined the gym next door and they were having a blast. Like, oh my God, I feel like we're in shape already. Yeah. And then they wake up the next day and they can't even move, that they're so sore. So I was a little concerned, but no, I was great.
Yeah.
I was
actually not too bad either. What gets me though is up and down that ladder with that heavy hedger to try and that's the part that gets me, but it wasn't too bad yesterday.
No, it was fine. Yeah. So it was also a bit warmer than I expected yesterday. Yeah. And so I was like, God damn, I am really, really hot.
Yeah.
And it's not just thirst. It's just in general hot.
We were overheated.
And I know what a hot flash feels like. I have had a couple. Yeah. And so I know what that feels like. I'm like, but this is different. This is like radiant. It's just everywhere. I'm like, oh my God. You're like, I'm like, I have to take a shower.
Yeah.
I have to take a shower. I feel so disgusting right now. So I go up, and so I'm like, I think I might try, apparently, the legendary shower beer. Now, very rarely do I actually crave beer.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm PMSing or I'm on my period, I definitely feel like I need a beer. Many times it's more like I'm just really hot and more than thirsty. Right. And a cold beer sounds really delish.
Sure.
So I'm like, I think I'm going to try a shower beer. And you're like,
I was so proud of you.
You're like, okay.
Let's go.
You were so excited.
I was. And I had the right beer for you to be able to do that too.
This is the beer for you because I hate soapy beer. Yep. I even said, I'm like, God, I wish I had like a Coors Light right now. I would literally down that shit in the shower.
And I'm like, I have one.
You're like, I have something.
Not a Coors Light, but we had a version of it.
Something that you'll love. And I'm like, okay. You're like, do you want to try it first? I'm like, yeah. So I took a sip and I'm like, oh, sweet Lord. Yes, this is it. So I go upstairs, the shower, too hot, because, I need, and I like lava showers personally, but I was just overheated, my whole body. So I had a cooler shower, and then slowly I warmed up the water, and then I started drinking the ice cold beer in the shower. And I'm like, this is one of the most amazing experiences in life. This is literally an adult indulgence.
Right.
This is a luxury.
Yeah.
A luxury that anyone can have. It was amazing.
Welcome to the rarities. Welcome to the formerly guy only kind of place, I guess. But
I just wanted to try it because I'm like, guys say that they're like, name some of the best beers you've ever had. Shower beer is up there with your first beer, with beer with your dad, or whatever. You know, like there's iconic beer moments, and a shower beer is an iconic beer moment.
I think it was last summer that I did that, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And then that's when you looked it up, and it was like, "Shower beer's a thing." I'm like,
"It's a thing.
I know."
I didn't know, and so I'm like, "All right." And so I also have never finished a beer in its entirety. Yeah. I can't even remember the last time I actually finished a total beer, and so
I can remember the last time you did.
When
we went to Markleyville, and you were at the Cutthroat, and that was the coldest mug of beer you had ever had in your life.
Honestly, one of the best beers. Yeah, that was really, because it was so cold.
So cold.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. So I chugged that thing
in the shower.
And I drank the whole thing. And I'm like, I can't even remember the last time I've never chugged a beer or a can of anything, actually.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, wow, that was incredible. I got out, got cleaned up, got out. Yep. And immediately fell asleep.
Yeah, took a nap.
Immediately fell asleep for 30 solid minutes. Yeah. And then I woke up going, what? Was it the beer that made me so tired? Like I couldn't figure it out.
No, it was the shower. The hard work that we did with, what we thought would be an hour or so of maintenance turned into 4 or 5 hours of remodeling the side of the yard.
It was so freaking delish. And then today I'm like, God, do I want a beer again? Yeah. And I'm like, nope.
No, shower beers especially. They're not an everyday thing, man.
No. I didn't want to do that. Yeah. I didn't want to do that. Yeah. I just had water. But anyway, it was so incredible. And I'm like, well, I definitely can see how this isn't something I would always do. Yeah. But it is nice. And I don't know if I'll ever do it again.
No, you might. But listen,
there's nothing
when you get kind of overheated and you're dirty, you've been working outside. Yeah. That's what makes it so great.
It was amazing.
Because you're not going to have a shower beer when you're just showering to get clean for the day. You know what I mean? There has to be something behind it. So
absolutely.
And that's the other thing too, is obviously most people shower in the morning, and so you wouldn't necessarily have that. So that shower beer probably means that you're taking a shower because you've earned it in some way. Right. You could have even showered earlier in the day already, and then you did your hard day's work, and then you come home and you have a shower beer.
And I was in the shower thinking, is there any other beverage you could do this with? But no.
Probably not.
Definitely not wine, and definitely not a cocktail.
No.
And not even really a soda.
No,
like,
probably.
Nothing.
I mean,
no.
I mean,
it's like
from a refreshing standpoint, I can't imagine.
There's nothing like it, and I don't know, man. It was pretty heavenly.
That's awesome.
But I definitely can see why this is not something I'll probably like not do this again for like a year, like you know, if ever.
Well, but now you know, right now you know, you and but the way you did it,
amazing.
The way you did it was perfect. You have a feeling for it, and you're just going, you know what? I would really like a cold beer, but I need a shower. I have an idea.
Right?
I'll do both.
It was so great. If you ever find yourself in that position, please do not deny yourself that pleasure.
And also, it really does need to be like, even if you're like me, I drink IPAs. I prefer that. No, for shower beers are not stouts. No. And double IPAs or anything. No,
you're just trying to hydrate.
You need
something light.
A Coors Light, a Bud Light, or something lager. You need a lager. Right. It needs to be like, something I can chug really this quick. Thing, and it's not, definitely.
It was good. So anyway, I'm like, well, now I know what all the hullabaloo is all about, and I get it.
That's the kind of soapy beer you want. It's a regular beer
with soap. Right. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. But anyway, so we got through the Grubs, and then I can't stop thinking about them though, and I know it's because I have problems. But it's fine.
You know what? The garden looks great. The plants are in.
Looks really good. Yes.
Everything looks great.
Correct.
The yards look great.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we got some trimming and trees and craziness to go around, but
and I did.
But I was genuinely proud of the amount of work we did this weekend. But here's the thing too. What I'm really proud of today, even though I think we worked significantly harder and did more yesterday.
Yeah.
The thing I'm really proud of us today is that we kept getting texts from our best friends.
Oh my God, I know.
And they were drinking champagne on the
Sitting
porch.
On the porch. They're like, be lazy like us. And I'm like, I want you.
No,
I
even said we were being productive, and they're like, you should be counterproductive like us.
I know.
And I was like, man, if that had said counterproductive with us, we wouldn't have done any work today.
I know.
So I'm very proud of us.
I am too. And we didn't push it.
Yeah.
Because I was really like, God, I could really go for a glass of bubbly right now. But no, we didn't.
Yeah, we were responsible.
We did our responsibilities, which I'm glad we did.
I'm
glad we did.
Me too.
But anyway, so we go to bed last night, and I had the worst dream ever.
Really? Wait.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Worse than the one you had the other night?
So I had a dream that we were with all of our friends.
Oh, okay.
And we were going to go to a country bar.
Oh.
And I did not want to, and all of our, the couples that we hang out with, the women in our friend group, they go all out. They get really dressed up and, dresses and all the things. And I do too, but I prefer jeans and a black t-shirt if I can help it. I mean, I would wear that all the time if I thought I could get away with it. And so there are times when I absolutely do the fancy version of jeans and a black t-shirt. But for the most part, sometimes I just cannot do that. So I had a dream where we were getting dressed up to go to some country bar. And I'm like, you know what? I know everybody else is wearing what they're wearing. I'm wearing cowboy boots and jeans, and maybe I'll try to find a sexy top, but overall this is all in a dream, right?
Okay.
So I'm partially dressed, and I look in the mirror, and in the dream, for some reason, I allowed another person to cut my hair. Because I'm currently in desperate need of a cleanup haircut.
You've been talking about that for a couple days.
Yeah, and
that explains it.
I don't see Greg for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I really need I just need to clean up my hair. My layers are grown out, all the things. Okay. And I like the length a lot, but I need a cut.
Yeah.
And so I allowed someone to do a slight trim.
Uh-oh.
Because and it was a woman, and I don't remember who she was, but it was a woman. I was like, okay. I look in the mirror, and not only do I have bangs, my hair is very short.
Oh no.
And I'm trying to fix it. Like, how do I'm like, oh my God, do I really have bangs right now? And I'm like, holy shit, I have bangs. My first thought, how am I going to tell Greg that I allowed someone to do this for starters?
Of course.
And there's nothing he can do because it's already short.
There's your nightmare.
Second, my hair was brown with no highlights. And it was very, very short and layered.
I'm like, what's his name when he sees Prince?
Yeah.
What was it? What's that?
New girl.
So
anyway, I'm like, I literally look like I'm in 7th grade. Like, what am I going to do? It's like 1980.
Was it a bowl cut or just your bangs?
No, it was just a very super short, very over layered haircut.
Yeah.
And the bangs. And I'm like, what in the hell? I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying to fix it. I'm like, I look so ugly and I couldn't fix it. And I was like, well, I'm not going.
Did you wear a cowboy hat?
No, I didn't. But anyway.
Isn't there a story about you in a cowboy hat?
Yeah. My dad cut my bangs really super short, like really short. And knowing now what I know he did it on purpose because he's a sadist.
Yeah.
And so I had a, urban cowboy was a big thing back then. And so, because this was the mid 80s.
Right.
And so I had a gray felt cowboy hat with a big spray of feathers on the front.
Yeah.
And I wore it to school because I was so embarrassed from my hair.
Yeah.
And so the teacher was like, Jamie, you need to remove your hat inside. Right. Because back in those days,
even though you went to a very agricultural friendly school,
I was in elementary school. I was like
that's right. This
small
was in high
child.
School. That's right. Never mind.
No, I would never allow my father to touch my hair in high school. Please, no. This was when I had no power.
Right.
I was in like 3rd grade.
Right.
So anyway, I walk in with it, and back in those days, I don't know if the rules have changed, but most of the time you have to remove your hat when you go indoors, right? I think
that's probably still true.
I think that's an old school
etiquette
thing
of course
now,
it is, but
back then it was very serious. And so she's like, you need to remove your hat. And I'm like, no. And she's like, excuse me? And I'm like, no. And she's like, yes. And I'm like, no. And she's like, get up and put that thing in your cubby right now. And I'm like, so I got up and I walked very, very slowly to my cubby and I removed it. And when I turned around, the whole class started laughing.
Oh, no.
The whole class started laughing. And she's like, all right, you can wear it. So she let me wear it. And for the next, swear to God, for the next week until my bangs grew out, I was allowed to wear it.
Oh, man.
Everybody came to school the next day with a cowboy hat.
Really?
Everybody wore cowboy hats for a week in unison. And so, honestly,
that's awesome.
I thought it was hilarious that people were wearing cowboy hats. But now looking back, they're probably like, we feel really sorry for her horrible hair. We're all going to wear hats together so no one makes fun of her.
Did the teacher do that, you think? Made it Cowboy Hat Week or anything?
No, there was no theme. I just think friends the social group that I hung out with, they just were like, we have cowboy hats too. And
that's so cute. Do you remember that teacher's name?
No, I don't care.
No, I know.
My whole childhood is a blur at this point.
That was a pretty solid
The only
teacher thing
to do.
Oh,
yeah, you would think the teacher thing. I don't remember. I honestly, I literally can't remember.
That's all right.
But anyway, yeah. So, and it's funny. I think about some of those school stories. I was not easy. I was not an easy student.
What?
No, and I am very well behaved. Actually,
shocked by this.
Like the one time, like I still don't know math very well, and so I was so bad at it that the student teacher said, I'm going to work with you on your math. So he kept me in on a recess.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's just do some quick flashcards. Let's just see what you know. So he's going through and I'm like, 7, 3, 2. He's like, are you even trying? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what's this one? What's 9 plus 7? 5?
Come on.
And he's like, okay, go play. Like it was useless.
You did it because you wanted to play though.
No, I literally, my brain did not do math. I did not understand the concepts. Oh. And no one back then cared at all how good or bad you were. I did ultimately figure out times tables and math facts, but past division.
What is 9 plus 7?
16. I had to think about it. I'm like, I don't know. Those ones were hard. Anything with an 8 and a 9, like 8 plus 6, I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it for a minute. 12, no, I don't know. 14, 13, I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, so that was my nightmare, and it was a nightmare, man.
That is bangs. Woo.
It was awful. And I just woke up going, I'm so glad I don't have to tell Greg that I let someone cut my hair. But the other thing is that I found a haircut that I actually really like. The problem is it's wicked short. And I don't think I have the balls to do it. But I want to know if I can do the cut just longer. You know what I mean?
How short are we talking here?
I'll show it to you if you want to see it.
I mean, you can, but
yeah,
I'm worried.
Why are you worried?
Because I don't like short hair.
I know you don't.
It's like a Goldie Hawn cut. From back in the day.
But look how short it is, though.
Yeah.
That's too short.
Yeah.
But I like
it's
the front.
It's got to be, yeah.
I like the layers. I just don't like the length. The length is
a
little too... Anyway, I think I can pull it off. I practically have that now, so it's just a little bit different.
Yeah, just shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like ended at the shoulders. That's a little too short.
Ended?
For me.
Are you kidding? It was practically her jawbone.
Yeah.
It's too short.
Too short?
Anyway, really quick, Val Kilmer died.
He did.
And it was funny because I mean, obviously he's iconic.
Yeah.
A once in a generation character actor.
And he hasn't been in a big movie. He hadn't been in it for a long time, but he was in the 80s and 90s.
He was huge star.
Huge.
I do hate it that everybody refers to the Top Gun.
And Top Gun and Batman, which to be honest, I mean, Top Gun was the biggest movie he was ever in, because I think
Tombstone was bigger, but maybe
no, not even close. Like,
okay.
Although Batman could have been by default, but either way,
nobody liked him as Batman, but he had the chin for it.
Either way, he's
been, why
and
he
then
got it.
he's one of those ones you go to. You know, I mean, honestly,
in everything.
in a different
Everything he did,
universe, Val Kilmer wins an Oscar for Doc Holliday.
Why didn't that happen?
I don't know.
Did they not take it seriously?
Westerns didn't. Once you got out of that time period, Westerns didn't get not until like Unforgiven did they really start getting into the Oscar realm, I think.
I think Clint Eastwood is the only actor. Well, that's not true. You know what? I don't know much about, but
Unforgiven.
Butch Cassidy.
Yeah,
Butch Cassidy,
but
the Sundance Kid?
Decades 60s. And decades ago, right? Yeah, that was. I was talking about in that era, a Western wasn't going to win, but.
I don't want to look it up, but I'm almost certain that Tombstone won some awards. Now, maybe not Oscars, but you're right. You're definitely right that Val Kilmer absolutely
he didn't win an Oscar, and he should have.
Well, he should have at least been recognized for it on that level. He was so
best supporting actor or something like that would have been great.
But there were also other films that nobody really mentions, like Heat. You and I were talking about Heat. Yep. That is probably one of my most favorite action films of all time. Yeah. Heat is so well made.
I really like The Saint.
The Saint is, I think I saw that in the movies, maybe. And I just remember watching it, and I remember I was absolutely enchanted by all of it. Yeah. It felt like James Bond, but not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was a semi-unique storyline.
Yeah.
Too, so.
And then like they were talking about how he literally turned into Jim Morrison in The Doors. Yep. And you know what? Maybe I'll watch the film. I've seen a lot of it. I have not seen it from beginning to end because The Doors was so before our time. Well, yeah. So I had no interest. It's the same reason why I haven't seen any movies about Bob Dylan, or I don't care about that. I'm sure the story is fascinating, just in general, is something to watch. But I don't really.
In reading, really obviously, with him passing, there's been a lot of just stories and all this kind of stuff. So one of the one about the Doors is that at one point the band was like the lyrics, they're indistinguishable. Like they're listening to him and Jim,
and they're like,
can't tell the difference.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah,
but he was also very
he's an
eccentric. He's a
character actor.
What do you call him? Method actor?
Yes.
He can be very method.
Not
as much as some who get
I don't
really
know.
stupid, but like there's
who's the one? Adam Brody? No. Who was the one that made a fool of himself at the Oscars this year?
Yeah, I don't remember, but
that
guy. Yes, Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody. Yeah,
he's a little bit intense, but yeah.
Yes.
So, but Tombstone by far my favorite, but there were also some Real Genius,
and his first film that I can't remember.
I saw a clip.
What was the spy movie again? I can never remember the name of it.
I don't. something. I don't remember. I just told you too.
I know, because I told you we called it the Spy Movie my whole childhood. Well, the Spy Movie, that
the very first movie,
was his first film,
yeah.
and my sisters and I watched that film relentlessly, constantly. We loved it so much. We thought it was the funniest movie ever.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll look it up really quick.
So I saw a clip yesterday of him in Real Genius, and he and the main character, the young kid who's really smart. He goes, okay, listen, we just need to take a step back.
Top secret.
That's it. He goes, okay, we just need to take a step back. Okay, now take a step forward. And then take a step back. And we're doing the cha-cha. And he goes, will you stop it? I'm being serious. He goes, okay, I'm being serious too. So fucking funny, that guy.
Yeah, the Real Genius was awesome. By far, that movie is when I had a crush on him.
Yeah, he was
and I don't like blondes,
so good.
But he was, that movie, I don't know, man, and I hated the main character. I thought he was so dumb and ugly.
Yeah, I know.
I hated all the characters except for Val Kilmer.
Yeah, well,
and the hermit, him and the hermit.
Yeah, the guy that lived in the closet.
But those
who won all the prizes because he figured out the raffle.
Those movies were so great, though. Yeah. They don't make movies like that anymore, and I know I sound like an old person when I say that.
When they fucking filled that guy's house with popcorn.
This is God talking. Stop touching yourself.
Stop touching yourself.
Yeah, all of it. Like, it was so great. They don't make simple movies like that. And if they do, they're like, you don't hear about them. And then you're like, hey, have you ever seen this movie? No, no.
That was good. So about our favorite Val Kilmer movie, I assume that Tombstone is also, would you say that your favorite Val Kilmer movie or no? But it's up there, right?
It definitely top two.
Okay, so yeah. I read a story that Kurt Russell told. And he said that he said that at the end of movies, in that time in Hollywood, at the end of movies, the stars in the movie would get each other something after spending months and months together filming or whatever. They would get them something. And so Kurt Russell bought Val Kilmer a plot in the Boot Hill Cemetery at Tombstone.
Oh, wow.
And Val Kilmer apparently laughed. And he goes, why? He goes, because I got you an acre overlooking Boot Hill.
That's
in Tombstone.
So cool.
And he said, and he goes, and of course, Val Kilmer's a really deep dude.
Yes, he's very
in real life.
cerebral.
He's really a deep dude. And he goes, it's fitting, right? Because Doc Holliday was about death and Wyatt was about living.
It's true.
And so he goes, it's fitting to what we got each other,
is.
right? So I just thought that was a really cool story. Also learned, and I knew this about him, but not to the extent. He basically had like $1 million when he died.
Yeah, because he was philanthropic.
He gave it away religiously,
Constantly.
just not religiously, but like that's all he did. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. He just gave away his whole life. He lived very humbly in like a New Mexico something like that.
He did.
Another star in New Mexico dying. It just dawned on me. Gene Hackman too.
That whole thing is so weird.
Anyway.
Do you know his body and his wife's body are still unclaimed?
How's that possible?
His children haven't come to claim them.
Do they have to?
I guess not.
Huh.
They're not, I mean.
Oh, yeah, because they like, what if there's gotta have an attorney or something,
I don't
right?
know, man.
Wow.
You know what? Being famous doesn't mean jack.
No.
If you're fucked up.
Well, no. Just reality kicks in.
You know what's funny is when, just because everyone knows who you are, doesn't mean that you're a normie. Like, in fact, it's usually the opposite.
Yeah, probably the opposite.
But even so, like, I mean, it doesn't matter now because they're both deceased, but it's like, what has happened where the children, who are in their 70s, by the way, have not done boo about, and like, he had no representation. He had no what? Like,
weird.
what? It's so crazy, but it's amazing how just because someone happens to have notoriety, people know who they are, you know, his body of work, whatever. It was like 92 or something.
There had to be some preparation. You're 92.
I don't know, man.
Weird.
Or not. That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like some people think they're never going to die, so they don't do nothing.
Yeah.
And now you're laying at the coroner's office taking up space.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, crazy. Wait, what? No, you do it. No, you do it.
Right.
No one's going to do it. And maybe he had no money. Maybe there's no money and they have to deal with the freaking probate and Maybe there's a reason why, because maybe the wife was the only one and she's gone. Well,
she definitely did all the finances.
And they didn't have kids. Yeah. So maybe there's no next of, maybe they cut everybody.
Yeah.
We're making up a lot of assumptions, but I'm just saying there might be a reason.
Backstory.
Well, there might be a reason why the kids can't claim him. Or maybe they're like, maybe they're like, well, we'll claim the dad, but we don't want her.
Yeah.
The homewrecker,
yeah,
whatever.
And where is her family?
I don't know. She was only 69. Did she not have kin? I have no idea.
Of any kind?
I don't know. The whole thing's a mystery. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And every once in a while it'll bubble up. Or like, hey, what's going on with like Gene Hackman? And everybody's like, no one knows. He's just kind of sitting in the coroner's office, I guess. It's. I'm sure it's all about money or something, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Anyway,
thank you for listening, and we will be back with a new show very soon.
Yeah. Bye.